Hey guys. Jesus, I'm gone for 1 week and everyone thinks I'm dead. No, I'm not dead, everybody. Hi Alex, I'm good. Hi Tim. Yeah, so a lot of things happened. I was really sick a couple of last week, and for those of you who are following me on Twitter would know that I was dealing with some stuff with Tommy was in the hospital. She just got back home yesterday, back to, because she was visiting me, and so she was in the hospital for like a whole week. Happy New Year, Haley. Hey, Tex. I'm good. I'm glad some of you knew that I wasn't dead. Yeah, so I had to postpone a few streams because I just got really busy with, dealing with Tommy and making sure that she was okay, on top of work, on top of the fact that I was getting sick. Hi, Mr. Renegade Shinobi. Tommy was in the hospital. Happy New Year, Zara. Thank you. That's how Mafia works. Yeah, so I was a little bit busy with all of that. It just got really crazy for a second. Good to see you, Ramsey. Queenie Halloweeny, hi. We're not gonna let you drop the noodles today. It's just me. V is in the room writing or doing whatever the hell it is she's doing. So yeah, it's just me, guys. It's just me. With that being said, I am technically still a little bit ill. Actually, V and I will probably start streaming the cat lady again probably tomorrow. We've just kind of been dealing with a lot of stuff at the house, and it's just been really crazy. But yes, no, don't worry, we're gonna pick up the cat lady again, and it's gonna be great. And or we might do it later on tonight. I don't know, it really just depends. Oh no, Angel, I'm so sorry that you had the worst Christmas. That's not good. I have not done anything with Mr. Nightmare. This song is called Fountain. And it's like from Vibe Tracks or whatever. It's a free track, so if you ever want to use it, just look it up and you can snag it, tag it and bag it and all that good stuff. So we might stream it tonight, I don't know. But for right now, I'm going to delve into the scary stories because you guys know that's what I do. Well, I'm glad it got better, Angel. I'm really, really happy that it got better for you. Having a horrible Christmas doesn't sound like fun at all. Hi, One Gamer. Yeah, I know, right? You caught a stream on time. It's fantastic. I would love to collab with Llama Arts. I figured he was kind of busy though. Oh my god, it didn't snow in Colorado for you? Well, it snowed in Texas for me. Had fucking snow day after Christmas. And then we got snow again on New Year's Day. So, you know what, Queenie? You should just bring your little ass down here to Texas if you want snow that badly. Hi, Spooky Noodles. I have not heard My Pet Monster. Oh god, it's CK Walker. Am I gonna have like my heart ripped out? I don't think I can take it. I got Assassin's Creed Odyssey for Christmas, and I got a few other things. Hey, Tubion. No, I haven't read it though. And I got a few other things like knickknacks or whatever. I bought myself a new phone. That was like my Christmas present to myself. Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out later this month. I'm excited. I gotta go pick up my pre-order. I gotta pay the rest of it down and then pick up my pre-order. Yeah, that's right, Queenie. I stole your snow. I stole it. Stole it all. No snow for you. Oh, wow. Lucky raining beer in Ireland. Yeah, no, it was really cool. I'm glad I had a good time. It was fun. I know, I'm excited about Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm super stoked. But yeah, so we're just gonna jump into like reading some stories here. Good, I can keep it? No thanks. I don't want that shit. You take it back. Take it all back, Queenie. I don't want it. I do not want it. Do not want. Yeah, so anyway, I think what I'm gonna do, what is this? Oh, it's Steak Express. Sorry guys, I just realized I had mail on my desk and I didn't, seriously, are we starting this? Are we really starting this? I've seen Infinity War. Hi, Rainer. Aw, thank you. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm not on Facebook much. I really need to get back on that. I apologize for those of you who are on Facebook. The blank face. Full moon, yay! Let's see. Let me see if Tommy is even online. She's not online. I'll message her anyway. Let's see. Who's this? This looks interesting. I'll probably give it a read. Does it have a pretty good rating? Oh, it's got 7.9 out of 10 stars. And it's new, so 14 people have voted on it. Okay, I'll give this a look over and see how it is. I'm having a good one, Rainer. Thank you. Did you? Oh my gosh, Queenie, let me go look. Sorry, I'm terrible. Let's see. I was looking up some other stuff because I kind of want to read this story, but if there's something posted on the subreddit, I need to go check it out. Well, if you think this is good for a collab, then I probably won't read it today. Yeah, I probably won't read it today if it's yeah, I probably won't read it today then. I won't read it in the I won't read it in the stream today, but I will definitely think about collabing with somebody. I'm still waiting on one person's lines for the collaborative story that I'm working on. It's kind of a slow process, but I'm getting there, and once it gets done, then we'll go from there. Harbinger Experiment is a goodie, an oldie but a goodie. Hey, Jack Jack. Hey, Jack Deprespacito. If you guys want to hear the Harbinger Experiment, I'll just wind up just playing the video. Oh my god. Tubian, thank Thank you so much. I'm really glad that I was able to be a positive influence. The Dark Somnium. I might collab with him. Everyone's been telling me about him, and I really need to see about doing that. I would love to make a video with Mr. Nightmare. That man's busy though, and I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, hey, Run Round, how you doing? Good afternoon, Nightmare Files. Good to see you. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll have to email them and see what's up. Oh my gosh, dude, no, I'm not reading Love. Not doing it. I read it one time and I bawled my eyes out, and I'm not doing it again. V, you're supposed to be writing. Anyway, yeah, so let me see here. I have a lineup of stuff that I kind of want to do. Hey Mal, I have a lineup of stuff that I kind of want to do today. Like, I know everyone really liked the therapist story that I did with the school shooting. Apparently there's like 4 other stories that they've written. The OCD one, and they have one, I believe it's called, there's a PTSD one, and they're both 3-parters, or like, well, one's a 2-parter and then one's a 3-parter. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so there's this one though, the one that says He Won't Stop Tapping, which looks pretty cool. It's written by Colette Akile, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't know. But yeah, I am looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 3. I still need to beat Red Dead Redemption 2. I heard Fallout 76 was garbage, so I'm not really too keen on that. The new Smash Brothers game is apparently really good. And you haven't missed anything. You haven't missed anything. Hey, Professor Terror. Yes, Leviticans is V. So, yeah. Anyway, tell you what. We'll go ahead and jump right into this. And I think you guys will like it. I will definitely have to look up the Dark Somnium and see what that's all about. Hey, Roger. Okay, so that's what we'll do. We will, yeah, we'll do that. So, because I kind of really want to know what's going on with this. They said that I should probably read the OCD one first. Because the PTSD one, it says the patient file will make more sense after you've read the school shooter, the OCD stabbings, and the choir boy molestation. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I could jump around if you guys would like me to. But yeah, so we read the school shooter one already. The one we haven't read was the OCD stabbings, the PTSD story, and the choir boy molestation. So, yeah. Pretty much just up to you guys. I don't know. Hey, Kitty Diamond. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you being here. Let's see. Oh yeah, there is that new story coming, or that new game coming out, Ghost of Tsushima. I heard some good things about it. Hey, Jashan. Hey, Kyle. Okay, well, Garrett Watts. Who is that? You guys have got to update me on these things, guys. I don't know who these people are. Wait, what? Nightmare Files is acting very nonchalant about his channel. Huh. Nightmare Files, are you holding out on me? Don't appreciate it. It's not very nice of you. Shane Dawson's best friend? Jeez. Do you think I'd even be able to get a hold of that guy? I'm still trying to get a hold of Cry. I am gonna finish Higurashi, guys, I promise. I actually recorded a little bit of that not that long ago. I just gotta edit it and put it together because it's so long. Is he acting very humble? I do appreciate humble people, I really do. Nightmare Files, boy, hit me up in my DMs or like in my email or whatever if you want to do a project together. I'm all up for whatever. Trying to open the doors to all these other creators. Come on now. Oh, goodness. Yes, I feel much better from back then. Gosh, it's been so long since I wrote that. The Dear Me of 2014, that was when I wrote that letter. For those of you who don't know what that's about, oh, pish posh. For those of you who don't know what that's about, I wrote a letter to myself in high school in 2004, and I sealed it. And I sealed it in an envelope, and I found the envelope 10 years later. It happened to be on my birthday, and it said, do not open until December 2014. And I was like, what the hell is this? I'd completely forgotten about it. It was like stuffed in the back of my drawer in my office at my house when I moved back home to live with my parents for a few years so I could take care of bills and pay off my student loans and stuff. And I opened it, and it was a letter that I'd written to myself when I was 18, when I was 18 years old. And I read it 10 years later when I was 28, and I was like, holy shit. And it was very emotional, and I was battling with some really tough issues. Hey, OEA. My holidays were good. My holidays were very good. As far as, yes, email me right now. But yeah, so it was a letter that I wrote to myself, and I was dealing with some really hard issues. I know, right? It's jamming out. But yeah, so I don't know. There was a lot of heavy issues I was dealing with in high school, and I'd completely forgotten about them until I got to college, until I read that letter. And then I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And so I cried while I was reading the letter, because everyone was like, you have to read the letter, you have to record yourself reading the letter while you're reading it for the first time. And then I wrote a letter to myself that day, put it in an envelope, and said, do not open until December 2024. So I won't be able to read what that letter says until, in the next, 5 years. V and I might stream later on tonight. We might stream later on tomorrow. I haven't really decided yet. It really just depends on how I feel. We're both kind of under the weather right now. She's been fighting with bronchitis, and I've been, trying not to get sick and dealing with the culmination of that. So yeah, it's just been one thing after another. Oh no, my Eevee! No! I dropped my Eevee, guys. See, if you can't tell, it's starting to happen right now. It's happening right this second. Whew, okay, maybe that'll help. But yeah, so I've met Vidith in real life. Vidith actually lives in the same city as I do, and we've met several times. He's the one who came over while we were playing the witch's house, and we played that game together. So with V. Yes, I will do a face reveal when I hit 50,000 subscribers. I have said this dozens and dozens of times. Yeah, dance queenie. Woo! Yeah, so, when I hit 50,000 subs is when I'll do a face reveal. I'll do an official video and everything. Until then, you guys are just gonna have to hold on. Yeah, bronchitis sucks. And I'm trying not to get it. So I've been like, you know, sprinkling holy water around the house. Oh, that's cool. I think he told me about you, actually. Yeah, so tell you what, we're gonna, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do this in order. So, from what I'm reading, from what I'm reading and what I'm understanding here, we read the school shooter story, so the next one is the OCD stabbings. And then after that is the choir boy molestation before we get to the PTSD story. So, we'll go ahead and read that. So I'll go ahead and link you guys. It's a two-parter, so I'll link both parts to you in the chat. I recorded an audiobook several months ago, actually. It was I forgot what it was called. Let me see if I can look it up. I don't know if it's on Amazon, but it's called I do believe, hold on. Oh shit, all my folders are discombobulated. Okay, here we go. So the story was called Thing 15. And it's a really fucked up story. It's it's called Thing 15, and it's by Erin Lee. And it's about this girl who was killed by a serial killer, but she's like a ghost, and she's like remembering everything that happened to her and what led up to the point of her getting murdered. So if you haven't read it, I strongly suggest that you check it out. It's I think it's 12 chapters long. And it's really good. I was happy doing it. And yeah, so if I do believe it's on Amazon, I'm not sure. It's on Amazon Audio, like Audibles or whatever. Yeah, so it's Thing 15, Diary of a Serial Killer, Book 3. And there's the Kindle edition, there's a paperback. Like I said, I did an audiobook of it. I don't know if I don't know, it's weird. I don't know if she got the stuff. I hope she did. But yeah, if you haven't read it, like, you definitely should. It was really good. I enjoyed reading it personally. Like I said, I don't know if they have it on the Audibles or not, but this was a while back, so I'm not sure how reliable that is. But yeah. Anyway, so there's that, but you should look it up. It's a really great read. I've done it. Hey, Dr. Satan Rex. Yeah, it's Thing 15. Thing 15, Diary of a Serial Killer, book. It's really good. It's really well written. Corpse Husband, he's just dealing with his own shit, guys. Like, I don't feel comfortable talking about his personal shit. I just don't. So, just know that he's okay. He's doing the best that he can, with whatever shit he's dealing with. And yeah, so it's all good. Everything's fine. But, you know, it is what it is. And he's doing the best that he can. So we just have to Have to hope and pray that everything works out the way that it's supposed to. But yeah, so anyway, so we're gonna jump into this. I'm gonna copy the story, put it in the chat so you guys can read. I'm gonna go ahead and make you a moderator. I forgot to do this last week. All right, there you go. You now have the power. Okay, so we're gonna go into this but yeah, so this is the OCD story. We'll read that, and depending on how I feel after I read it, because like I said, I'm still kind of under the weather right now, and I'm trying to get better, so I'm trying not to strain my voice too much. So we'll see how I'll see how I feel after I do this. So we're gonna jump into this. Let me get my music together. I'm a therapist, and my patient has severe OCD. Every time he misses a ritual, something terrible actually happens. Love one, love two. As he spoke, Phil held his hand to his heart and raised one finger, then two. Then he bowed his head and whispered one last sentence. Sorry for bothering you. In my notebook, I finished sketching that pointy S symbol that we all drew in high school. I never actually write anything down, but it gives patients the comforting idea that I'm in the process of figuring it out. How often do you perform this ritual, Phil? I asked. He looked up. Every 5 minutes. He had a messy beard and a weathered face that made him appear much older than he probably was. 5 minutes, I repeated, trying not to sound too surprised. That was unusually frequent, even for a patient with severe OCD. Do you feel any relief after the ritual is complete? He shook his head. Never. What are you afraid will happen if you don't perform the ritual? He closed his eyes and shook his head. Phil, you can tell me, I said encouragingly. That's what I'm here for. He took a deep breath. The man with 2 knives. Fear of death or murder was one of the most common manifestations of OCD. But of course, I didn't want to minimize his fear, which was still very real to him. That sounds frightening, Phil, I said. Can you tell me more about this man? He swallowed. If I miss a ritual, he comes in the middle of the night and he... It's okay, I said gently. I don't want to upset you. I turned to his wife, who was anxiously massaging his knee with her hand. Anne, how has this impacted you? I asked. It must be difficult seeing your husband suffer this way. You must worry every day, especially when he's at work or traveling. He never leaves the house, she said quietly. This is the first time he's been out in 3 years. He's been on disability the whole time. He's so terrified, and my new assistant, Noah, opened the door. Noah, I'm in the middle of a session. Sorry, it's the school, he blushed. They said it's urgent. They want to talk about Emma's trial. I shook my head and apologized. I'll be right back. As I walked out of the office, Noah stood in the doorway and stared at Phil and Anne. Apparently, he learned nothing from orientation, but I didn't have time to deal with him right now. I stepped out and took the call. The school wanted me to testify in Emma's favor, which I was already planning to do. I got the sense they were more worried I would try to blame the school as revenge for firing me. But revenge is petty, especially at the cost of a young person's future. I finished the call and returned to my office. I'm so sorry for the interruption, I said as I took my seat. Now, there's good news and bad news here. The bad news is that you certainly seem to be suffering from a severe case of obsessive compulsive disorder. The good news is that you came in here for help, and OCD is very treatable. Phil leaned forward. You can stop him? Yes, I said confidently. I'm not a huge fan of medication, but I think antidepressants could help take the edge off while we begin a regimen of mindfulness and talk therapy. In a few months, those rituals will be a thing of the past. My whole team is here to help you. I didn't refer to him out I didn't want to refer him out to my colleagues too quickly, but this was a pretty classic case of OCD. And I felt that my resources might be better spent on patients with more unusual issues. Phil shook his head. No. I'm sorry? No, I can't take medications. I can't stop the rituals. Of course you can, I said. That's why we're here. No, he said again. Otherwise, he'll do it again. I was becoming a bit frustrated by this point. Phil, that's the whole reason. Show us, Phil said to his wife. She winced and shook her head slightly. Please, Phil pleaded, show us. Anne closed her eyes and lifted up her shirt. Her torso was covered in at least a dozen stab wounds. Before I even had a chance to react, Phil held his hand to his heart again. Love 1, love 2. Jesus Christ, had it already been 5 minutes? Sorry for bothering you. I poked my head out of the office door. Noah, what's my afternoon look like? He took out the iPad. 2 new patients after this one. He said, Don Halverson. Noah, we've been over this, I said impatiently. I can't remember names. I remember problems. Read from column B, please. Oh, right, he said, scanning the screen. Guy who intentionally transmitted HIV to 8 people. And the other one, homeless kid who escaped a cult. As the words came out of his mouth, he raised his eyebrows. Geez, Doc. Welcome to the wonderful world of pro bono work, Noah. I gave him a quick smile. Please move them to next week. I'm going to need a little extra time with my current patients. They both sounded fascinating, but the homeless kid was probably hallucinating from drugs, and the HIV guy was court-ordered, so he wouldn't be hurting more people anytime soon. Right now, Phil needed my full attention. I returned to my office and saw Phil and Anne embracing each other. They must have been the most exhausted-looking couple I've ever worked with. Anne, I began gently, now that I've seen evidence of bodily harm, I have to report this to the police. Do you understand? No, they both shouted at the same time. It's not really a matter of choice. You can't, said Anne. That's the whole reason we're here. If we go to the police, he'll kill Phil. I tilted my head. How can you possibly know that? Because of Eleanor, Phil answered for her. Eleanor? Our daughter, said Phil quietly. She had the same condition as me. OCD? It's not OCD, he protested. Eleanor went to the police last month, and the man with 2 knives, Anne held his hand. He killed her. A week after the police detail left our house, Phil stammered. The angriest we've ever seen him. Stabbed her 8 times and dragged her into the woods. What the hell had I gotten myself into here? Let's take a step back here, I said. Phil, do you have any recollection of when this ritual began? 3 years ago, he said. We took Eleanor on a trip to Disney, and all we remember is waking up and hearing him tell Eleanor that we had to do the ritual every day from 4 a.m. to 11 p.m., or he would hurt our family. There were 3 rules. No cops, no hospitals, and no skipping sleep. We thought it was some kind of sick joke at first, so we didn't do the rituals, but then he showed up that night. Do you have any idea what the ritual means? Love one, love two, any of that? He nodded. She's love one, he pointed to Anne. Her sister is love two. If I miss either of them, they get punished that night. Wait, her sister gets stabbed too? Yes, Anne whispered. She lives with us, and she has 2 more scars than me. How many do you have? I asked. 14. Phil bowed his head in shame, but by my calculations, he was nothing short of a hero. 12 rituals every hour, 19 hours per day, 365 days per year for 3 years, 249,660 rituals, and he only missed 14 times. That's a 99.995% success rate. What about sorry for bothering you? I asked. What does that part mean? He shook his head. I have no idea. We sat there in silence for a while, and I just stared at my notebook in disbelief. Then Phil spoke up again. You have to help us. We've tried everything, but he's always watching. I don't think he's human. I think he might be a demon or a ghost. I did my best to conceal a harumph. Yeah, I don't believe in that stuff. To me, those are code words for overactive amygdala, which was unsurprisingly another aspect of OCD. I like to think every mystery has a practical explanation set here on planet Earth. So your daughter, Eleanor, she had to do the same ritual or the same thing would happen? They nodded. There was no point in pretending to write in my notebook anymore. I had no idea what was happening. Father, mother, sister, daughter. Father and daughter have to perform 5-minute rituals, otherwise mother and sister get stabbed by omniscient stalker. I didn't know what was worse. The fact that they refused to involve the police because of this omniscient stalker, or the fact that I was about to go along with it. Bill, I need to be honest with you, I said. Given the severity of your OCD, I have suspicions that you may also be suffering from a comorbid case of DID. DID? Dissociative identity disorder, I said. It's possible that you could be the man with 2 knives and his victim. My God, will you stop diagnosing people with mental disorders and listen to us? Anne spoke up angrily. We have surveillance videos. We wired the whole house. It's not Phil. It's some sort of evil spirit. You have videos? I asked, curious. May I view them? Hopefully we could put an end to this supernatural talk once and for all. She nodded and took out her phone. This is from last year, she said, handing the phone to me. Phil accidentally said love you instead of love too. I watched the footage, 4 panels at once. In the master bedroom, Phil and Anne made their way into their bed. In the guest room, Anne's sister read a book in bed before shutting off the lights. In Eleanor's room, a young teen girl typed away on her laptop before finally drifting off to sleep. The front entrance to the house showed no signs of life. Then I just waited. Phil did his ritual a few times on the couch while I continued watching, but nothing happened for a long time. I wasn't sure if I was missing something. And that's when I saw it. A man in full body armor marched into the sister's bedroom. He had 2 butcher knives, 1 in each hand. I'm normally not a sucker for horror, but I'll admit I jumped. I wanted to call out and warn her. And then, with surgical precision, he lifted one knife and drove it into her stomach. She lurched out of bed and screamed, and just like that, the man with 2 knives walked out of the frame. The others bolted out of the bed and ran for her room, but I was busy watching the front door. No one ever came out. Jesus Christ, that video changed everything. I've been completely wrong a few times, but I've never been this wrong. Could Phil even be diagnosed with OCD and if his fears were completely rational? I handed the phone back to Anne and said, "This is terrifying. I'm so sorry for love 1, love 2. Phil began his ritual again. Sorry for bothering you. For some reason, the last sentence really made me uncomfortable. Something about the way Phil whispered it in that lower voice, it didn't even sound like him. He pressed a button on his Apple Watch and looked back up to us. Is that how you keep track of the 5-minute intervals? He nodded. It vibrates 30 seconds before, then a loud alarm at 20 seconds, and at 10 seconds it calls everyone. I shook my head. What kind of life was this? I'm so sorry for doubting you, I said. This must be hell for you and your family. We have the video of Eleanor too, said Anne through tears. The one where he took her away from us. I bit my lip and accepted the phone. For the next few minutes, I watched their family perform their nighttime routine again, and then later in the night, the man appeared again. This time, he walked into Eleanor's room and covered her mouth. She squirmed violently, but no one in the house could hear her. Then he began stabbing her repeatedly, almost as if he was punishing her. Eventually, her body went limp, and he dragged her downstairs and out the front door. I closed the phone and shoved it back to Anne as if some kind of curse would be passed along to me. What had gotten into me? You've searched the house for him, right? I asked, because he doesn't seem to enter or exit the house. Of course we have, said Phil. I'm telling you, he's not human. I cleared my throat. I understand your conclusions, but I'm a student of science, I said. Would it be okay if we tried my way, the scientific method? Just a few controlled experiments, and if that doesn't work, you're free to explore a medium or ghost hunter. Experiments? Phil asked nervously. I would like to access your security feed, I said. I think he has access too, hence why he's able to watch your every ritual. So I want to be in a contained room with you while we try various combinations of your ritual. If this man doesn't know whether or not you perform the ritual, he always knows, Phil protested. He'll hurt them. Anne squeezed his hand tighter. We'll do it. What? Please, Phil. We have to try something. I can't live like this anymore. He took a deep breath and nodded. So, what do you need us to do? Phil, I'd like you to stay with me in this office for the next couple of days. I'll get some blankets for the couch, I said. And I need you and your sister to act like everything is normal at home, even in Phil's absence. And if you suspect anything is off, please call me. They both nodded apprehensively. After answering a few more of their questions, I escorted Anne from my office. Noah, can you stay late these next few nights? I'll pay you overtime. I needed someone to watch the door and make sure no one was listening. Sure thing, Dr. Harpy. I stared at him. Harper, I said. Harpy is rude, foul-tempered woman. He went pink. Oh, right. Experiment number 1. Control group. Do the ritual. First, I had to set a baseline. What happened if Phil did the ritual successfully every 5 minutes in my office with only me watching and no one else? So that's what we did for the rest of the afternoon and evening. I just sat across from Phil and watched him perform his ritual every 5 minutes. He did it with such a sense of duty and purpose. It was somehow both disturbing and inspiring to witness. Finally, we reached 11 p.m., and I turned to the security camera feed on my laptop. Anne and her sister made their way into the bed, and for the rest of the night, nothing happened. A lucky guess for the man with 2 knives. Tomorrow, he would make things more interesting. Experiment number 2. Experimental group, forget Love 1. Today, I need you to mess up Love 1. Phil looked at me miserably. Please. He won't hurt Anne, I said encouragingly. There's no possible way he'll know you missed, let alone who you missed. It's just the 2 of us in this room. He took a deep breath and nodded, but for the next 8 rituals, he continued to say everything correctly. Phil, I promise everything is going to be okay, I said. Don't you want to save Anne from this hell? He looked up to me and closed his eyes. Okay. We waited another 5 minutes for his Apple Watch to light up, and then I leaned forward in anticipation. Love 3, Love 2, sorry for bothering you. He fell back into the couch and burst into tears. Oh God, he said, I've doomed her again. I rushed over and comforted him. You're helping her, I said, so you don't have to live like this anymore. He continued the rituals correctly for the rest of the day and evening. Then I turned back to the security feed and watched Anne and her sister perform their nighttime routine. Phil refused to watch. They fell asleep and nothing happened. I knew it. The man wasn't omniscient. He was just watching their security feed. But then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something change in Anne's video. It was him. How the hell? I lunged forward for my phone and called Anne's cell phone. She didn't answer. Fuck, I whispered. What's happening? Phil asked. Call Anne's sister. Do it now. I watched the video as the man walked robotically toward Anne in bed. He's there, I heard Phil speak into his phone. He's going for Anne. He ended the call without another word. Why did you hang up? There's no point, said Phil, defeated. He can't be stopped. Heart racing, I turned back to the video feed as the man walked closer. Wake up, Anne. I stared at the screen and bit my lips. Get out of there. And then I watched as the man drove the knife into Anne's thigh. What the fuck? I kicked my trash bin across the room. How did he know? We keep trying to tell you. He's not human, said Phil. I shook my head and stormed out of the room. Noah, I barked. When I took that phone call with the school yesterday, did anyone come in or out of my office? No, Doc. He shook his head, eyes wide. You'd never seen me like this before. How did he know? I repeated under my breath as I turned back toward my office. Then Noah spoke up again. Maybe he really is a demon? I spun around. Are you listening to our sessions? He went white. Only a little. Noah? I rubbed my fingers into my eyes. You need to go home. Come on, he said. I'm experienced with psychology stuff. You took Psych 101 in college, I said, exasperated. I don't have time for this. What if he's really a demon, though? Said Noah. Shouldn't you? He's not a demon, I snapped, turning back to my office. Someone is listening to us. And that's when it hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh my God. I hurried back into the office and approached Phil. Phil, I am so sorry for failing you. I said, I need to get us some dinner. I'll be right back. Before he could respond, I held my index finger up to his lips and reached down for his Apple Watch. I unfastened the metal strap and carefully removed it from his wrist, placing it on the table without making a sound. I took my finger from his lips and motioned for him to follow me out of the office. He did. What's going on? He whispered when he got into the lobby. I think someone is listening through your watch, I said quietly. You wear it wherever you go, right? Yes, he nodded. All day, every day. Oh. Noah nodded gravely from behind his desk. I gave him a light smack on the head with my notebook. Not a demon. But who would be listening? Asked Phil. I don't know, I said, but we bought ourselves some time. He thinks you're alone in my office and you don't need to perform your ritual until morning, which gives us about 3 hours to figure out who's doing this to you. But how? Phil asked. How can we figure it out? I've spent all this time playing detective. I've forgotten to do my actual job, I said. Phil, I need to know about your past. What do you mean? He asked. Before the ritual, who were you? What was your life like? Any enemies, bitter exes, bad business deals, or loans from the mafia? Noah said seriously. I glared at him. I don't remember. Phil shook his head. I can't remember anything from before the Disney trip. We woke up in a daze. It felt like we'd been drugged. You don't remember anything about your life before that? He shook his head. I thought for a moment and then said, have you ever been hypnotized? He raised his eyebrows. Like where magicians make you do funny stuff? No, that's hypnosis, I said. In therapy, we use it to calm the patient and access a deeper state of mind. You still have full control of your mind and body. Some call it pseudoscience, but I've seen several patients uncover forgotten memories with it. I'll try anything. Great, I said. This isn't exactly an ideal environment, but we don't have the luxury of time, so we'll have to make do. Noah, can you dim the lights? He eagerly jumped out of his seat and turned down the lights. Then he sat back down at his desk. I looked at him and pointed to the building's front door. Out. Oh, come on, let me stay, he said. I won't cause any trouble. Noah? It's fine, Phil spoke up softly. I don't mind. Noah gave him a huge smile. I rolled my eyes and turned back to Phil. We sat down in the waiting room chairs and I began the hypnotic induction. You don't do it with a swinging necklace like in the movies. Normally, I'd approach it with a gradual relaxation method, but we only had a few hours before Phil had to start his rituals again. So, the rapid Elman method was probably our best bet. I want you to close your eyes and then imagine your eyes are too tired to stay open, I said quietly, like when you've had a long few days with no sleep and your head finally hits a pillow. Finally, you can let go and catch up on your rest. Your dreams get started very quickly. The harder you try to open your eyes, the harder they stay shut. He closed his eyes and we continued down this path for a few minutes. Now, when I drop your left hand into your lap, you will go 10 times deeper. I gently lifted his left hand, then lowered it slowly and placed it on his leg. He rocked slightly from side to side. We did the same with his right hand and then got started on counting clouds. As each cloud blows away with the breeze, you fall into a deeper state, deeper and deeper every time. After a few more minutes, I felt confident that Phil had entered a hypnotic state. That was lucky. A lot of people don't respond to it because their logical mind is too busy trying to prove it wrong. I'm one of those people. Now, Phil, I spoke in a calming voice, what can you tell me about your childhood? He took a relaxing breath. I don't remember. That's okay, I said. What about your trip to Disney with your daughter, Eleanor? His face broke into a sad smile. I loved Eleanor. She sounded like a very special person. I said, what was her favorite ride at Disney? He swayed a bit. I don't remember. This was unusual for hypnosis. Usually patients were more receptive to questions. What about your ritual? Do you have any idea what sorry for bothering you means? He shook his head slowly. I don't know. Could you try performing the ritual for us now, Phil? He nodded. Love 1, love 2. Sorry for bothering you. His voice got deep and raspy with the last sentence. Can you do it again? Love 1, love 2. Sorry for bothering you. Just the last part now. Sorry for bothering you. He repeated it in that same low voice. Again, sorry for bothering you. Again, sorry for bothering you, he said, but can you spare some change for a vet and his little girl? He held his hand out to me. I stared at it for a moment. Vet and his little girl? Spare change? Did Phil used to be homeless or something? And then my heart started racing. Holy shit. Noah, I whispered, that new patient I asked you to push back yesterday? He frowned. The dude who gave people HIV? No, I said, that homeless kid, the one who claimed to escape from a cult. What was that patient's name? He took out his iPad and started swinging hurriedly. Homeless kid who escaped a cult, he said. I stared at him incredulously. The name, Noah, I said. Call him A. He swiped one more time and then his face froze, illuminated by the light of the iPad. Whoa. For God's sake, what's the name? Eleanor, he whispered. Her name is Eleanor. Okay, that was wild. I don't know what to feel. Oh my God, I don't know how to feel. That's so weird. That's so wild. But wait, it's not over. We still have one more part, guys. Nope, it's not over. I don't want to lose your respect, but you're going to see a different side of me today. One thing you need to understand about me is that I despise psychological torture. At least with physical torture, the victim knows the perpetrator is causing their suffering. But with psychological torture, the perpetrator plays innocent while the victim self-destructs and blames themselves. Do it to a homeless veteran and his family, and unfortunately, you've incurred my deepest disgust. You're already aware that I have a bit of a temper, but today is going to be different. I am a flawed person, just like any other, with secrets and regrets. Today, you will learn one of those secrets, but I wouldn't quite call it a regret. Eleanor? Phil stood up from his chair. Did you say Eleanor? Phil, I think your daughter might still be alive. I reached out and touched his shoulder. I think she might have come to this very office. His eyes welled with tears. Alive? I can't say for certain, I said, but it would explain a lot. She has the same name as your daughter, and you both have some sort of history with homelessness. She also claims she escaped from a cult, and you're showing some pretty severe signs of brainwashing. Brainwashing? Up until a moment ago, you weren't able to remember most of your life. I said, for the past 3 years, you've been deprived of sleep and forced into this terrifying, life-consuming ritual. It would be enough to make anyone lose their mind. Where is Eleanor now? Asked Phil. He didn't seem to care about his own suffering at all. He just wanted to know about his daughter. Noah, I know it's late, but can you try to reach Eleanor and the number listed in her file? I asked. We only have 1 hour before Phil needs to start his rituals again, and she may already have the answers we need. He nodded. You got it, boss. The rituals, said Phil miserably. Do I have to keep doing them? I don't know. I said truthfully, we still don't know who the man with the 2 knives is. If you don't resume the ritual, I think he'll keep harming them. Phil looked to the ground. It won't be for long, I reassured him. We're going to figure this out. I just don't understand, he said. Who would want to do this to us? I don't know, I said. I found myself saying that a lot with Phil. I just want to see my daughter again. Phil, can you remember anything else from the hypnosis? I asked. Anything at all? He shook his head. Sorry. If I can get you back into that state, I can, but we're running out of time until we have to start the rituals again. It would be better if we could just get a hold of Eleanor. Do you have any idea where she might be staying? Any past shelters or friends? He closed his eyes tight and waited for a few seconds. Then he sighed and looked up. I'm sorry, I can't remember. I turned to Noah. What about you? Any luck? No, Doc, he said. I've tried 5 times. She's not answering. Let me give it a try from my cell. I walked over to my desk. Maybe she'll recognize my number from her initial call. Don't worry about it, he said gently. I've got it, Doc. You got to take care of Phil. Thanks. I nodded and walked back to Phil. Do you want to try the hypnosis again? Sure, he said. Whatever you think will help. For the next 15 minutes, we attempted the same induction method, but it didn't seem to be working anymore. Phil kept opening his eyes, and he didn't seem relaxed like before. Is everything okay? I asked. You don't seem quite as receptive to my suggestions. I'm sorry, he said. I can't stop thinking about Eleanor. It has me so distracted. No, don't blame yourself. It was silly to think he could enter a hypnotic state after learning that his daughter was actually alive. We just wasted precious time, and now we only had 45 minutes until the ritual started again. Maybe we couldn't get Phil back into the hypnotic state, but there were other clues to this mystery. I sat down and reviewed the security footage over and over again. I watched him stab Anne until I couldn't stand to watch it anymore. Who was this guy? Fully body armored, gas mask. It was the stuff of nightmares. Out of ideas, I turned to Noah. Still nothing? He jolted up from his desk. What? Oh, no, sorry. Were you sleeping? I stormed over to the desk. Give me the phone. No, I got it. But I snatched the phone and Eleanor's file from his hand and dialed the number. Hello? A girl's voice answered after 2 rings. My heart jumped. Eleanor? Yes, she asked. Who is this? It's the middle of the night. Eleanor, this is Dr. Harper. You had an appointment with me 2 days ago, and you canceled it at the last second. Yes, because I was treating your father, Phil. There was a long pause on the other end. He's one of your patients? Yes, and we need your help. I don't have time to explain. We need you in the office now. My dad is there with you? Yes, that's right, I said. Please, can you come? Yes, she said. It's a 10-minute cab ride. I'll leave now. Thank you so much, and I'm sorry about all the late night calls. What do you mean? Well, we've been ringing you for the past hour. There was another pause. I don't have any missed calls from you. This was the first. I felt my stomach drop, but I tried to keep acting normal. Okay, see you soon. I hung up the phone and, without thinking, I lunged at Noah. Who are you? Whoa, what? I pushed him against the wall. Brand new assistant listening in on my sessions, delaying us at every step with your bumbling incompetence. Who are you? What are you talking about, Doc? I pushed harder, hands closing in around his neck. I've had bad assistants before, I growled, but nobody is this fucking stupid. He started choking, tugging away at my grip. I punched him in the face and he fell to the ground. Phil rushed over. What did you do that for? He was lying, I said. He wasn't calling Eleanor. Why would he lie about that? I don't know, I said, but we'll find out when he wakes up. Here, help me tie him up. Phil bent down with me and we secured Noah to the desk with my belt. My own assistant. How could I have been so blind? He had access the entire time and I just kept giving him more. I was supposed to be good at reading people. Eleanor arrived 10 minutes later, exactly as promised. The moment she opened the door, Phil sprinted toward her and pulled her into the longest hug I've ever seen. I couldn't even tell if they were crying or laughing or a bit of both. I don't want to interrupt, I said, but we only have 30 minutes until the rituals start up again. They broke their embrace and turned to me. Eleanor had a soft kindness in her eyes, just like her father. She had to be about 16 by this point, but she carried none of the innocence someone her age should have. Eleanor, how did you escape? After the stabbing, I pretended to be dead, she said. They dragged me into the woods and went back to the house for a shovel to bury me. That's when I ran. Phil pulled her closer. I'm so proud of you. You said it's a cult? I asked. What kind of cult? It's called My Happy Family, she said. It's more like a lot of little cults. They call themselves hobbyists. I found their forum on the dark web. They share brainwashing techniques for forcing people into your family. I raised my eyebrows. Forcing people into your family? Yeah, like with Dad and me, that ritual wasn't unique, she said. People have been perfecting it for years and reporting back with their experiences. Apparently, they used to punish the person who missed the ritual, but that sometimes made them suicidal, and you don't want your investment to commit suicide. Investment? Yeah, that's what they call the people they're brainwashing, she said. They put a ton of time and emotional energy into their investments, so they want to make sure they stay a long time. So they switched to hurting other family members? Right, said Eleanor. If you're afraid for your own life, you might eventually give up. But if you're afraid of hurting someone you love, you'll keep doing the ritual forever. That's sick. Yeah, they use a lot of CIA mind control techniques, she said, and then they chart their results to determine the best methods. It's all just based around votes and most popular comments. For example, one poll determined that 5 hours of sleep is just enough to maintain docility without causing too much exhaustion. So for now, everyone goes with 5 hours. They're like a hive mind. But how can someone just forget who they were and join a new family? Well, they tend to go after vulnerable populations, she said. Homeless people, drug addicts, prostitutes. They offer something nice, like an Apple Watch, and then they load you up with benzos. Like Xanax? Right, she said. After a few weeks, your memory turns to mush. Then they start up the rituals and replace your memories with new ones. It's only a matter of time before you accept your new reality. And people just forget their old life? That's why they do the ritual in such frequent intervals, she said. That way you spend every moment of your life thinking about the ritual, paralyzed by the fear of what happens if you miss it. Constant fear messes with the rest of your brain. I couldn't argue there. She could have quite a future in this career someday. I took a deep breath. Eleanor, is this the man with 2 knives? I walked over to the desk and pointed at Noah. She took one look at Noah and frowned. There is no man, she said. That's what I'm trying to say. It's just them. Just who? Asked Phil. Wait. She looked at Phil. You don't know about Anne yet? I raised my eyebrows. It was strange to hear a girl refer to her mother by name. You're saying your mom is involved in all this? She's not my mom, said Eleanor. She and Rose are the whole operation. What? I frowned. So you and your dad? Phil spoke weakly. We're their investment. I shook my head, trying to absorb what Eleanor was telling us. It's not possible. I've seen the security videos. She let out a cold laugh. Yeah, that's one of their favorite methods, she said. They call it digital hallucination. Almost all of them have it set up because it erases any doubts the investments might have. Here, show me one of your videos. I took out my cell phone and played the most recent attack. There, see? She pointed to Rose's room before the man even arrived. What am I supposed to be seeing? The book, she said. Great Expectations. Every single night Anne gets attacked, Rose is reading that book before bedtime. Here, look. She took out her phone and scrolled through it to find a video. I watched with morbid fascination as Rose opened Great Expectations and eventually turned out the lights. The timestamps are the same every time, said Eleanor. It's a loop. And whenever Rose gets stabbed, Anne and Dad's video always shows the same thing too. On the forum, they all help each other doctor the clips. Wait a minute, I said in disbelief. Phil, right before Anne got attacked earlier, I asked you to call Rose. She answered, right? Yes, he nodded. What time was that? He took out his phone and scrolled through his calls. 12:47 a.m. I skipped the security video to 12:46 a.m. and watched intently. 1 minute passed as the man with 2 knives entered Anne's room. Rose remained fast asleep in her room. Then 12:47 hit, exactly when Phil talked with Rose. But in the video, Rose remained fast asleep. What the hell? I wondered out loud. So the man with 2 knives isn't a man at all, said Eleanor. It's both of them. They just put on that creepy outfit and then stab whoever got missed in the ritual. That's insane, I said. Why would they stab each other? Why not just stab another one of their other investments? You know what codependency is, right? Yes, of course. When one person feels an unhealthy emotional reliance on another responsible for their well-being. And the rescuer mistakes that dependence for love, right? Yes, I said. So let me get this straight. They make you feel guilty for hurting them when they're the ones actually causing harm, and then they use that guilt to make you love them? That's why I made the appointment, said Eleanor. I mean, I understand what happened to me, but I still can't get rid of the guilt. It's not like the scars from the knife. It's deep inside of me, like a monster squeezing at my heart. I felt my blood boiling. They can't get away with this, I said. Let's call the police now. We have everything we need to put them away. Eleanor shook her head. They all have detailed police plans, she said. There's an entire subforum devoted to it. They get away with it almost every time because it's their word against some brainwashed homeless person or drug addict. Can't the police get their IP address or something? I said, growing increasingly agitated. Did Anne and Rose ever post there? Yes, said Eleanor. That's how I found the forum in the first place. I saw it on Anne's computer the night I called the police. She left it open, and I recognized her whole Disney backstory on one of their posts. Perfect, I said. Can you show me the posts? Then the police can find the IP. She gave me a funny look. There aren't any IPs, she said. It's the dark web. I gritted my teeth and repeated, they can't get away with this. At least we're safe, said Phil, pulling Eleanor into a hug. At least Eleanor is okay. But they're going to hurt someone else, I said. It's only a matter of time. Sorry, Dr. Harper, Eleanor shook her head. I don't think there's a way we can stop it. I thought for a moment and said, what if we use their own tricks against them? Phil, unfortunately, I need to put you under 24/7 watch, I said. I was wrong about the man with the 2 knives, and now I can see your family is at serious risk. What? Phil stammered. You can't lock me up. My wife needs me. I just need to keep you for a little while, I said, until we can perform a few more experiments. No, said Phil. No more experiments, please. There's something else at work here, I said. I think you were right about the demon theory, but I have to figure it out so your family can be at peace again. No, said Phil. We'll just go back to our rituals. Yes, the rituals start back up in a few minutes, I said. I'm going to bind your hands and take you to the safe house now. Bind my... What? That way you can't perform the ritual, I said, so I can try a few more experiments. No, Phil screamed. You can't do that. You saw what he'll do to them. I don't think he's going to hurt them anymore, I said. Now come on, let's go. No, Phil sobbed. No, you can't do this. He continued sobbing and shouting into the Apple Watch until we exited the office and returned to the lobby. That was good, Phil, I said quietly. You could be an actor, you know. Thanks, he said. So now they'll think they still have control of their investment and they'll wait for me instead of taking someone else? That's right. And I can keep monitoring them until we get enough evidence to send to the FBI. I really think we can get enough of a case here to open a major investigation. What about Anne and Rose? Asked Eleanor. I doubt they'll keep hurting each other, I said quickly. Not if they know this could go on indefinitely. No, I mean they'll come into your office. They'll want to know where he is. Let me handle that, I said. I'm quite good at telling people what they want to hear as long as I know their motives, and thanks to you, now I do. They both nodded. Phil, there's just one more question I have, I said. Why did you come to me in the first place? To therapy? Yes. He looked down, ashamed. Anne suggested it because I felt suicidal after Eleanor left, he said. I thought it was because Anne cared about me, but apparently she just wanted to make sure her second investment didn't die. Eleanor turned to me. They probably thought they could trick you with their digital hallucinations too. That way, you'd confirm their story and Dad would have no doubts left in his mind. I bit my lip hard. I hated these people. Suddenly, there was a stirring from behind the desk. Oh, God, Noah. I hurried over to him. What happened? He asked in a daze. Nothing, I said quickly. You just passed out. He furrowed his brows and thought for a second. You hit me. I huffed. Yes, well, I said stiffly. Be that as it may, we've determined you're no longer a threat. He crossed his arms and glared at me. Sorry to interrupt, said Phil, but I think Eleanor and I are going to leave before it gets much later. The shelters tend to fill up fast. Oh, no, I said. Please come stay with me for a while. The guest room's already made up, and you'll be so much safer there. I have quite an elaborate home security system. That's what happens when you work with stalkers and the darker personality disorders. I don't know, said Phil. I don't want to impose. You're not imposing, I said. I'd love to have you. You can sleep all day, and then I'll cook a big holiday dinner tonight. I make the best turnips you've ever had. Turnips? Eleanor raised her brows. Blech. Trust me, I smiled. Phil and Eleanor looked at each other and did some sort of father-daughter communication with their eyes. Then Phil nodded. We'd love to. Thank you. Noah cleared his throat. His arms were still crossed. All right, I said. Noah, I'm sorry for punching you. He continued glaring at me. And I'm sorry for calling you stupid. He didn't let up. I sighed and rolled my eyes. Noah, would you like to join us for dinner tonight? Finally, he broke into a huge grin. Awesome. Wait a minute, I said. Why didn't your calls go through to Eleanor? I don't know, he said. I dialed it in just like you taught me at orientation with 661 at the beginning. I sighed loudly and pressed my fingers into my eyes. 5. Huh? It's 5, not 6. Ugh, I let out a deep breath. Jesus. So Noah wasn't a cult member after all, just a cartoonishly dumb assistant who took an inappropriate interest in my patients. Honestly, I think I would have preferred cult Noah. People always assume my house is cold and dark, but it's actually quite cozy, especially around Christmas. I love the lights, decorations, all of it. It's a nice contrast from my otherwise bleak days. We sat around the table as Joy to the World rang in the background. At our side, the tree twinkled with hundreds of gold ornaments and lights. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. I closed my eyes and smiled. Good fortune, good food, good music, and good people. If there was any purpose to life, this had to be it. You know, said Noah through a full mouth, I had a feeling it was a cult. Compared to the way Noah ate, you'd never guess Phil and Eleanor were the ones living on the street. He was already on his third plate. And heaven and nature sing. You thought it was a demon, I snapped. Yeah, but that was my third guess. Before that, it was mafia and cult. Whatever, I grumbled. Eleanor, please put your phone away at dinner, said Phil. I looked over and saw her tapping away. Wait, check this out. They posted on the forum again. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. I leaned forward and curious to hear more. Anne and Rose? Yes, she said. They posted about how Dad got involuntarily committed and how he's unable to perform his rituals. They asked if they should keep up the facade and continue hurting each other until he's released. Did anyone respond? Asked Phil. A bunch of people, she said. They're crazy. The top comment says it's better to get stabbed a few times now than to start all over with a new investment because new investments will mess up the ritual a few times anyway. Another says to keep at it because the investment will probably ask to see the new wounds when he gets out. And then this guy wrote, sounds like he still loves you. I would keep going if possible. Save the footage to show him when he gets out. He'll feel so guilty that he'll never leave you again. That's nuts. Phil shook his head. Eleanor, please put away your phone. Dr. Harper, put together this nice dinner for us. Let the angel voices ring. It's crazy, she said, biting into a forkful of steak. Everyone told them to keep at it. I seriously think they're just going to keep stabbing each other indefinitely. That's the idea, I muttered under my breath as I scooped some potatoes onto my plate. Yeah, I wrote those comments, and a few more. Like I said before, revenge is petty, but sometimes justice needs a little nudge in the right direction. He rules the world with truth and grace. Noah, could you please pass the turnips? Wow. That is messed up. But go Dr. Harper. Yes. I mean, I would never do something like that because I'm a believer in karma and like I feel like that bad karma would like come after me. But that's just me. I personally wouldn't do that, but yeah, she's got balls. Go her. Not me though. No, 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 no. No, thank you. Oh my goodness. That was pretty good though. I admit. Let's see here. Anyway, so that's it for me, guys. Wow, I read for a really long time. My throat's dry. Hold on, I'm gonna spray this in my throat real quick. Oh God, are we talking about Ashley Morgan? That story always hurts my heart. Oh, my back is killing me. Ugh. I'm gonna drink water here in a moment. I think it's mostly because I'm starving. Yeah, Khadijah, you're late. I just finished. Talking about my greatest hits. God. And lo and behold, all of them are me bawling my eyes out. Go figure. Thank you guys. I really appreciate everybody coming by. It was awesome. So yes, thank you everyone for stopping by. I had a great time. We will resume this possibly later on tonight, possibly tomorrow. I'm not sure. Everyone's been yelling about continuing the cat lady, so depending on how I feel later on this evening, we might pick that back up again, or we'll pick it up first thing tomorrow when I get home and after I've had a nap. So it'll probably be in the afternoon tomorrow when I do it. I would love to get sushi. Sushi's expensive. I'm broke. So, yes. Yes, room 733 is an old hit. Oh, apparently they say that V is cooking. Well, I didn't eat because I woke up, and then after I woke up, like, I had shit to do, and then I got caught up playing Gravity Rush, and that's my own fault. I know. I'm sorry. I apologize. And then after I was playing Gravity Rush, I went outside to go smoke, and then by the time I got home from smoking, or got back inside from smoking, I was like, oh shit, it's time to stream, because, you know, I suck at life. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just not good at taking care of myself. Jeez. Have something to eat and come back. Are you gonna be here, Two Geeky Gamers? You're usually always gone. Yeah, that's right. Chastise me for not eating. Jeez. I'm sorry. I don't eat. Are you about to harass me? V just walked over toward me, like all creepy like. I'm like, what are you doing? Anyway, guys, so yeah, I'm gonna go get food and all that good stuff. Yes, chastise me for smoking too. My goal for the new year is to cut back on my smoking. But instead, I'm probably just gonna start vaping. I don't know, guys. I work in news. Coffee and nicotine is it's a necessity in my job. I am not human. Eating is overrated. Excuse you, Run Round. Eating is amazing. Like, I love food. I just don't eat enough of it. I do need food though. But yes, so awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming by. I appreciate you guys. No, I'm not a weather lady. And meteorologists hate it when you call them that. You know what? Tommy, I'm going to go eat a pistachio just because you said that. So screw off. Anyway. Yeah. No, I'm not a meteorologist. I am a technical news director for the news. I'm basically the one who puts everything on the air. Yay! So, with that being said, I'm going to cut it here, guys. Thank you all so much for coming by. If I do stream later, I'll let you guys know via Twitter. So just keep an eye out. And if that is the case, I will see you guys later on tonight, maybe in a couple of hours. And if not, I will definitely see you guys tomorrow from when we pick up on the cat lady. But I will let you know. Yes, I press all the buttons. I'll let you guys know what's going on via Twitter. So just keep an eye out. Sean, it's okay. No, we're probably going to come back later via Twitter. I'll let you guys know. Like I said. It's okay, Sean. Don't feel bad. So yeah, just give me a couple hours to figure out what the hell's going on here at the house, and we'll go from there. And if I do decide to stream the cat lady, I will let everyone know via Twitter, so keep an eye out, okay, guys? All right, I love you. Thank you so much. And with that being said, until next time, bye. Well, just keep a lookout. You know, if there's a notification that pops up, check your emails. If you don't have the little bell highlighted when you subscribe to me, push the bell so you'll get an email notification to let you guys know that I am streaming. So you'll be able to get a heads up that way, even if you don't have a Twitter. So anyway, but thanks for coming, guys. So I'll see you later. Bye. You don't have to make a Twitter link, but yeah, so just, you know, hit the notification bell when you subscribe, and there should be an email that gets sent to you to let you know when I'm streaming. So yeah, anyway, I gotta go for real now, guys. All right, bye.